Okay, team, we've made it to the specific warm-up, okay? At this point in the training, we've done 15 minutes before class. We've done whiteboard briefs, so explaining what we have going on for the day to the class. And then we've done general warm-up, so just body temperature, core temperature, and getting people moving at a low skill level. And then moving on to the specific warm-up where more coaching comes into play, okay? So specific warm-ups are different day to day. So the purpose of the specific warm-up, the word's right in it, it's specific, right? More detailed into what we are actually doing for the day. So if we've determined that it's a 2-part day and we have a strength piece, the specific warm-up purpose of that will be to get closer to the movement types primed for something like a front squat, right? So we'd start to introduce PVC, barbells, and what goes with that, and start getting them ready for the thing that they're actually going to be doing. So the squat movement type and all the points of performance for that, if that's the example, okay? The specific warm-up can leak into the workout of the day. So if it's a singular focus for the day, and then we have Cindy, our specific warm-up will be tailored towards the air squat, the push-up, and then the pull-up as well, okay? So it really gets us down to those main movement types so that the movement quality improves. It sets a standard for what we're expecting from our athletes for the day, so that by the time we hit 3, 2, 1, go for the strength or the workout, we have people who are really ready. They understand the assignment and their body is prepared for it, okay? So that's the main purpose behind it. It becomes a lot more hands-on coaching in the specific warm-up, okay? So the first bit that we need to know going into it is our POPs, which is just point of performance for the movement, okay? So we can kind of stick with that example of the front squat, okay? We need to have that base knowledge of what are the points of performance of the front squat, okay? And that would be our shoulder width stance, so not a hip width, but a shoulder width stance. Points of performance would be high elbows in the front squat, so we can have that balance about the frontal plane. Okay? Full range of motion, so the hips going below the knees, that's a point of performance. Heels down, another point of performance. And then that natural neutral spine, that's another one, okay? So just knowing what those things are so that when you get to this next portion, the actual drills, that you can draw upon those different points of performance and be able to help our members move better by giving them feedback, which at the end of the day, that is, that is our number one calling as coaches in here, is to try to look at something, the issues that might exist, and try to make it better, even if it's just 1%, okay? So we need to know our points of performance for each movement. That is either, if it's in the strength, it might be singular focus, which is great. In the workout, there might be 2 movements, 3 movements, maybe more. So knowing the points of performance of those movements, okay? The next bit, it says drills. So in our lesson plan, that can be outlined, okay? Most of the time in our specific warm-up, we'll have StreamFit outline what it is that we're doing in the specific warm-up, and then it's really on the coach to develop the drill for the day that you're gonna do, how you're gonna tell the athletes in front of you to do the reps, what you're gonna be looking for, and the feedback that you're gonna give, okay? So all that should be decided beforehand, okay? This is a great area to do what we call is calling reps, okay? Especially with barbell-based movements, that's really a good opportunity where we can get the group working and moving as a unit at the same time, so that you can watch the static positions, and then as they move, you can watch the dynamic positions and be able to layer in movement feedback as you go, okay? So those are all things that are planned ahead of time. One of the best ways that we can call reps on command for a class is to use this tell, show, do, check method, okay? Which we could honestly create a whole new video about. But the biggest thing is if we have the front squat for the day, this premise is, this method goes into us telling them what they're doing for the day. Hey guys, we have the front squat. So that's the tell portion, right? We're letting them know what they're about to do, okay? The next bit is to show them, okay? Providing a good visual example of that movement. So you're gonna show them 2 to 3 reps without you talking, right? You're just gonna show them the movement so that they know what it looks like at a glance. That's a good visual interpretation, all right? Do is for your athletes out on the floor, then having them do the movement, okay? And there's different ways to go about this, okay? A lot of times when you're starting out, it might just be as simple as, hey guys, I'm gonna have you guys do 5 front squats on your own. That's an acceptable version of doing this, where you have them do that, you tell them to do those reps, those 5 reps, and then you walk around and you provide any feedback, corrective feedback for the different points of performance, okay? As you get better with the do sequence, then we can start to do things like calling reps, okay? Which in the eyes of the front squat, we can have them get prepared and we can let people know, okay guys, when I say down, you're gonna descend into the bottom of your squat. It looks like this, show them position. When I say stand, you're gonna stand all the way up. Those are commanding reps so that when you're in front of the group, you wanna predetermine how many reps you're gonna do. Maybe it's 5, 7, 10 reps, okay? Try not to go crazy high on that, but then letting them know by command, what words are you going to use and how are you gonna go about that, okay? That's a really good way to create a team atmosphere and buy-in with your classes, okay? Good timing for that, okay? That last bit of the tell, show, do is checking the movement. Like we just kind of said, if you're gonna command reps or tell them to do 5 reps on their own, is that you're reinforcing the movement quality, the points of performance that you want to see, okay? So this is really the challenge and the fun part of coaching, where we can dig in and really try to refine things so we're not trying to do it like crazy in the middle of a workout, or we're having to backtrack and take a lot of steps, okay? A lot of work is done in the specific warm-up for the day, okay? The last bit, you guys, it just says transition here. It's just knowing that there's a natural transition as we're wrapping up the specific warm-up. If it's a strength day, it might be geared towards the ramp up where people are taking some time. We'll give them X amount of time, 3 minutes, 5 minutes to build up to their starting weight. We want to communicate the transition. If it's a ramp up, if it's a transition of going from the specific warm up to the workout or the stimulus, we want to let them know so that there's just a natural flow from the specific warm up to something else, okay? So that is the nuts and bolts of a specific warm-up. I will say that this part can vary quite a bit depending on what we have going on for the day, what the movements are, how many movements we have, if it's a heavy day, if it's 2 parts, all right? So there's flexibility in this, but overall, these are the things that we need to have in place for us to run a good specific warm-up, because this really is a step up from the whiteboard brief and the general warm-up, okay?